Going to open up the Northwood Board of Selectmen meeting for January 10th, 6 p.m. First thing I'm going to do is do a roll call.
Rick Wolf.
Donald Hudson.
Scott Breyer. I'm going to do the public hearing first and then go into citizens forum, but we have a public hearing tonight. I'm going to read that into...
Nothing to do with Pledge of Allegiance or anything.
Can I do the Pledge of Allegiance?
I don't know what you're doing.
That's right, I'm sorry.
I just said that. I asked if he was doing different
Lead
tonight.
us, Chief, in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I think it's going to be one of those nights.
Got it, you, not me.
So anyways, we have a public hearing. So I'm going to read it into the record. Town of Northwood, public notice. The Northwood Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing at the Northwood Town Hall on Tuesday, January 10th at 6 p.m. to discuss accepting grant money. So, I guess there's grant money for the fire department and the town.
Yep.
So,
The chief came to talk a little bit about his grant first, if that's okay.
yeah, come up. Yeah, and then, well, we're gonna take public comment on the, so let's do the fire department first, then we'll do the town. Go ahead, chief.
Good evening. So this is a grant for forestry equipment. We've applied for this in the past and have received it 2 years ago. This year we got accepted. It will be for a pump for Forestry 1. The total cost of the pump is $3,857. This pump will be mounted to the truck, but we'll also be able to remove it if we get to an area where we can't access with the truck. The grant is through DRED, Division of Forest and Lands is part of DRED, and this is only given out to smaller towns like us. It's a 50-50 grant. Ours is roughly 50-50. Our share is going to be $1,967, and the grant will pay $1,890 for a total again of $3,857.
Okay, thank you. Is there any public comment on the grant? Seeing none, I'm gonna, oh, did you want to say something?
When do we get it? When do we order it?
It takes about a month to get, so pretty quick.
Okay.
And then we can get it installed on the truck before spring, so.
Okay, any further public comment? Okay. Seeing none, I'm gonna close that section of the public hearing, and then the second part was, accept funds for the town. So do you wanna talk about what?
Yep. So these funds, the town of Northwood is awarded $20,000 from the New Hampshire Charitable Trust, Charitable Foundation. The Madison Fund are the folks that actually provided this money. This money is for the Northwood Healthy Children's Healthy Community Project, which will do some improvements up at the ball field.
Is this the one that's gonna be used to build the pavilion?
Yeah, this money would be used to build the pavilion and a little bit of signage up there.
Okay. Is there any comments, questions from the public pertaining to the town grant okay, I'm gonna close the public portion of that. I believe you need a motion from the selectmen to accept both grants. So,
I'll make a motion to accept both grants, one for the
why
fire.
don't we break it out? We'll do the motion for the fire and then do the motion for the town.
Okay. Make a motion to accept, do I need an amount, please?
$1,890.
All right. Motion to accept the grant for $1,890 and for forestry equipment for a pump for the fire department.
Second. Okay, is there any discussion?
Is that the correct money amount?
That's what we're getting for a grant.
We're getting 1,800 and then we gotta,
We have to kick in
isn't it a
1967.
50/50?
It's like we got about $70 more that we're spending than they are.
Okay.
It's close. It's close.
Question I got is that the match for that would come out of our, expendable grants match?
Yeah,
line
from the
trust?
special fund.
Okay. Is there any further discussion on the matter? Seeing none, all in favor of accepting the grant funds, say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion carries 3-0. I'd like somebody entertain a motion for the, town grant?
I'll make a motion for the town to accept the grant in the amount of $20,000 for the children's.
Healthy
It's from the children's, right?
All right.
New Hampshire Charitable Trust is the funder.
All right, to be used for upgrading the ball fields.
Second.
Okay.
I just have a quick question. Is that just a flat out what they're giving us? We don't have to match? That's not a 50/50?
No, there's no match on this. I mean, we'll do we've already done what we've done up there. They're giving us this money to do this project.
Okay. All right, so we got a motion second. All in favor of, accepting the grant, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So the motion, is 3-0 to accept the grant. So with that, I'll move on to our regular agenda. Anyways, the next thing on here is, at the beginning of each meeting, is there anybody here that wants to do citizens forum? Linda?
Could I just ask that we do the photo now?
Oh, yeah.
The photo?
Yeah, the local newspapers wanted to get a photo of the selectmen accepting the awards. So that way they could put it in the sun and put it on the web.
Sure.
We all gotta go over there, don't we?
I would just wait. I don't know where we want to go. We're leaders.
What works for you, let us know.
If you go over there, you have it.
You look thinner if you turn just a little sideways.
Well, there
That's
you
good.
go.
That's good.
No, no,
Get in
Oh,
together.
yeah.
Things we know.
Am I supposed to hold this up, Joe?
Hold it up.
Cover my face.
Okay.
Choke the
Don't
reflection.
hold for a second. Oh, that's pretty good. Okay.
Oh, I missed all your heads. Hold on just a second. Yeah, that's better.
Are you a professional? or-
Yeah, I'm a professional. That's right.
You see when she crops it?
When you end up on Donald Trump's body, you wonder why.
Okay, so going back, anybody else here for citizens forum? Okay, so, at this time, I'm gonna close, citizens forum, and our first appointment, and, you may come up to the table, is, Mr. and Mrs. Clark. Sure, yes, come on up. I know, I recognize you, I just, okay. The floor, are you gonna be the representative speaker?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Mr. Breyer, my name is Tim Britton, and I represent Robert and Janet Clark. Thank you for allowing us to have time on your agenda tonight. As the board probably knows, Mr. and Mrs. Clark own property designated in the town records as tax map lot 213-8 with frontage on the Class 5 and Class 6 portions of the old Pittsfield Road. The old Pittsfield Road becomes a Class 6 road after the Clark's driveway. Before we get started, I did bring some notebooks for each of the members of the Board of Selectmen regarding the items that I'm going to talk about tonight.
Thank you.
And I have a copy for Ms. Whitelaw as the town's attorney as well.
Thank you.
Lawrence and Denise Cleesby own property designated in the town records as tax map lot 205-1, which they acquired in 2002, and a copy of their deed is included as Exhibit 1 in the notebook I just provided to you. The Cleesby's property is entirely on a Class 6 portion of Old Pittsfield Road with a driveway, which is unpermitted, to our understanding, approximately 1,200 feet beyond the terminus of the Class 5 portion of the road. The Clark's property is a large property, and a portion of it is directly across from the Cleesby's present property. For some of you at the table tonight, you undoubtedly remember that for almost 20 years, the Clarks have been before this board complaining about the ill-advised decisions of the Board of Selectmen to allow premature development on the Class 6 portion of Old Pittsfield Road. Now, contrary to what some may believe, this is not an effort to stop Mr. and Mrs. Cleesby from constructing a residence on their property. The issue is about the adequacy of the Class 6 portion of Old Pittsfield Road for development and the damage that has occurred to the Clark's property because of improper road work by Mr. Cleesby, which has been done with the permission of this board. The Board of Selectmen's decisions over the years have directly caused damage to the Clark's property, as Mr. Cleesby's work has damaged the surrounding environment and has directly caused siltation of the Clark's farm pond. Yet every time the Clarks try to bring these concerns to this board, their concerns seem to fall on deaf ears. For those of you who are new to the board, and Mr. Breyer, I know you've been around this issue for a while now, let me just briefly describe some history. And let me tell you that I have a binder here that was prepared by Mr. and Mrs. Clark's prior counsel, Scott Hogan, regarding the chronology of issues and proceedings that have occurred with respect to Old Pittsfield Road and the Cleesby's work on Old Pittsfield Road. And I have a binder that resumes where Attorney Hogan's left off. There's a lot of proceedings that have occurred because of this issue. I also have a notebook of photographs regarding the various damage that has occurred as a result of the Cleesby's work on Old Pittsfield Road. Now, at one point in time, Mr. and Mrs. Cleesby owned another property on Old Pittsfield Road, which is designated as tax map lot 205-2, which they acquired in 1998 from the town. They have since lost that property by a foreclosure sale in 2009, and lot 205-2 is presently owned by the Corson family. In 1999, after purchasing lot 2052, the Cleesbys entered into an agreement and release with the town of Northwood pursuant to 674-41 to build a residence on that property. And if you go through this chronology, there was quite a history beginning in 1998 prior to that 1990 release ever even being executed. But importantly, the Cleesbys do not have a 674-41 permit for Lot 2051. The other important fact that this board needs to keep in mind is that the 1999 release for 2052 predated the town's amendments to the zoning ordinance in 2000 and again in 2008. The zoning ordinance of this town clearly prohibits the development on Class 6 roads unless it has been improved to current town standards. If you look at Exhibit 4, I've included excerpts of the town's ordinance on that point. Consequently, no construction can occur on Lot 2051 unless the Cleesbys obtain a variance from the zoning ordinance. And therefore, this board has no authority to issue a 674-41 permit at this time. When I asked permission to be present on tonight's agenda, in my letter of December 6, I included a chronology of the events that is backed up by the materials I have here. And if you have had an opportunity to look at that chronology, since 1998, Mr. Cleesby has created a remarkable dossier of unauthorized construction and maintenance activities on Old Pittsfield Road, which clearly demonstrate that he is not qualified to undertake the work that has occurred out there. Moreover, this chronology also demonstrates that Mr. Cleesby does not comply with agreements, permits, and other ordinance requirements and simply does his own thing. We could spend hours going over this chronology, but I'm not going to do that. Let me just hit a couple of highlights. Beginning in September of 1998, before the issuance of that 1999 release, the then town road agent, Jim Wilson, inspected the property and stated he understood what the Clarks were complaining about. The place was a mess out there. They were causing all sorts of problems. Later that year, the Conservation Commission also expressed concerns about the work of the Cleesbys on Old Pittsfield Road. The first item was at Exhibit 5. The second item that I just mentioned is at Exhibit 6. And despite a cease and desist order from the town in 1999 and in February 1999, and a February 1999 acknowledgement by the Cleesbys that they had performed unauthorized work, the town continued to let them do work on that road. The Conservation Commission has repeatedly complained about the impacts to the environment, siltation, improper drainage, all of which continues to this day. And again, I would refer you to other exhibits that are in the binder 7, 8, and 9. In 2000, the Department of Environmental Services was involved, and ultimately there was a wetlands permit for work done on the road that was issued to the town. In connection with that work, Mr. Cleesby installed a culvert, which again improperly drains water, and it goes directly into the Clark's Pond. All of this led up to an agreement with the town in February of 2009, in which I believe Ms. Whitelaw was involved with that agreement at the time. The town specifically authorized the Cleesbys to do work out there, but only with the prior express permission of the town. And notwithstanding that agreement, Mr. Cleesby again showed his stripes and violated that agreement in 2005. And again, the road agent went up there and issued a report, and that's reflected in Exhibit 13. As I mentioned earlier, the Cleesbys lost Lot 2, or 2052, in 2009 to foreclosure. So then they began residing in a trailer on Lot 2051, despite the fact that they were notified by the town administrator, the building inspector, David Hickey, that they were in violation of numerous town ordinances, and I would refer you to Exhibit 14. In 2011, the Cleesbys began constructing a residence on Lot 2051 without a building permit until the town was forced to issue yet another cease and desist order, Exhibit 15. Thereafter, the Cleesbys submitted an application for a variance, which the Zoning Board of Adjustment denied in February 2012, finding, among other things, that granting the variance would violate the spirit of the 2000 zoning amendments prohibiting construction on Class 6 roads unless they were brought up to town standards. Yet 3 years later, a new building inspector issued a building permit to the Cleesbys in November 2015 to build a single-family home on Lot 2051, although this time with the addition of an attached barn. When the Clarks made inquiries at the town about this issue, they were stonewalled. However, the building inspector quietly withdrew that building permit by letter dated April 20, 2016, which is at Exhibit 16, and I'd like to just read that letter to you. This permit was issued upon a conversation with you, Mr. Cleesby, where you stated that you lived on the property and the barn would be an accessory structure, which is allowed. It has come to my attention that you are dwelling in an illegal structure, a portable camper, that was not approved by the town. In fact, you were denied a building permit for a residence on your property in 2012. The current permit for the barn is being revoked because it is based upon the information provided that you were living there when in fact you knew you are not authorized to do so, and you knew that. Proving once again that Mr. Cleesby attempts to hoodwink new town officials who are not familiar with their extensive file. Thereafter, on June 7th, the Cleesbys filed a second variance application, which the Zoning Board of Adjustment denied on August 22, and after a rehearing, denied again on November 28. The ZBA has now twice denied variance applications because the Cleesbys cannot satisfy the requirements of the town zoning ordinance. It's important to keep in mind that the citizens of the town set these policies in place. They're the legislative body of the town, and they've set the policy. Now, notwithstanding the town cease and desist letter of 2009 and the ZBA decisions, we understand that the Cleesbys are still living on their property in violation of the town ordinances. Cease and desist letters were again issued in 2012 because they were living illegally on the property, yet the town has done nothing to enforce its ordinances. And the problem continues. The Clarks frequently see building materials and cement trucks going up the road, so it seems to us that illegal, unlawful, unpermitted development continues on that lot. Now, after the 2015 building permit was revoked, the Clarks learned that this board was meeting with Mr. Cleesby regarding new work on Old Pittsfield Road. And contrary to what this board may have heard, there has been no maintenance work on that road prior to this past summer. And Mr. Clark is here to expand on that if he wishes to add anything to the record.
No, not at this time.
And there are no town records reflecting any written request by Mr. Cleesby or the Corsons, the current owner of Lot 2052, to maintain the road during those preceding 2 years. Now, when this board was going to meet to discuss the Cleesby's work on June 28th, we submitted a letter on June 27 expressing the Clark's concerns and highlighting a portion of Mr. Cleesby's malfeasance. And we also asked the board to postpone their meeting so that I could be present, and I couldn't because I had a family funeral to attend. Yet, notwithstanding the town land ordinances, the Clark's concerns, and the fact that Cleesbys have no legal residence on that road, this board once again granted Cleesby the right to undertake maintenance and repair activities on the road. We do not believe the board has the authority to do this, and I am aware of that 2003 agreement. Yet the extent and the length of the time that you're allowing Mr. Cleesby to do work on that road in my opinion, violates RSA 231-61, which says that the selectmen may only designate repair of highways to third parties with the authorization of the local legislative body, and for no more than 5 years. Among the activities recently authorized the Board of Selectmen was work to replace a culvert near the Clark's driveway, which, as I indicated before, ultimately drains into the Clark's Pond. No permit was issued by the Department of Environmental Services for that work, and it's important to note that that is the very culvert for which a DES permit was required back in the 2000 timeframe. We also understand that there is an investigation presently pending by DES regarding Mr. Cleaseby's latest work. He has again damaged vernal pools, and he continues to damage the Clark's property. The Clarks simply do not understand why the Board of Selectmen continues to allow Mr. Cleaseby to work on Old Pittsfield Road and turn a blind eye to the Cleaseby's violation of town ordinances. The zoning ordinance has not changed. Old Pittsfield Road beyond the Clark's property is still a Class 6 road. There's been no effort by this board to reclassify the Class 6 section of Old Pittsfield Road to a Class 5 road by either legislative action or by a petition for layout. The Clarks have spent a lot of money on this problem, and it's time for this board to fix the problem. It is not in anybody's interest for the Clarks to have to continue to spend money on lawyers to go out and fight and police the work that this board should be doing. And in fact, it's not fair to the Cleasebys to have to keep going through this process. There's an easy solution to this. Now that you have 2 residences on that road, it's time for this board to take responsibility for that road and make it a town road and bring it up to town standards and stop this never-ending cycle of litigation. So here's what the Clarks want. First of all, they want the board to do their job. They need to take action about the Cleaseby's illegal activities on Lot 2051, and that means all illegal structures must be removed from the property. The town needs to take full responsibility for the entire length of Old Pittsfield Road. If the board wants development on that road, it needs to upgrade it to Class 5 standards. And that means there needs to be a survey to identify the boundaries of the road. You've seen complaints, and the record reflects that there have been trees cut and trees that this board has recently authorized to be cut. But yet, nobody knows where the boundaries of that road are located. It's time for a survey. And it's time for an engineering study by a properly qualified civil engineer to assess the condition of the road and identify the work necessary to upgrade that road to Class 5 standards. And then the work needs to be implemented by a properly qualified road construction company after obtaining all necessary permits. And after this work is complete, and it's premature to do this work until that road is in a proper condition, the town needs to fix the Clark's Pond and restore it to its former condition. It's only fair. The town needs to maintain the road to prevent new damage to the Clark's Pond. And we want the town to reimburse the Clarks for the legal fees they've expended since 1998 to do the job that the Board of Selectmen should have been doing all along. And finally, the Clarks want to be compensated for the loss of enjoyment of life they have suffered because of the actions permitted by this board. And I'll let Bob and Janet tell you that loss in their own words.
And I've been designated as the speaker this evening. For 20 years, we've tried to work with the town to solve these issues, but our concerns have been ignored repeatedly by the town. In those years, we've paid approximately $150,000 in taxes. We certainly get some services for that, we all know that, but I don't think we've been served by the town in this matter. Over those same 20 years, we've also paid tens of thousands of dollars in legal costs, money that could have been used to make improvements to our home and our property, to help our family, to take a vacation, or to make our retirement a little more comfortable. Without proper town oversight on the road, we've been forced to repeatedly report activities by the Cleesbys throughout those 20 years to the town. Activities that no one in the town is aware of and that eventually use town resources such as the road agent, police, the selectmen, town administrator, board administrators, building inspectors, etc., and cost us as taxpayers more money. Costs every taxpayer more money. Townspeople told us about hearing Mr. Cleesby talk about us around town, and it got to the point that we had to have our attorney write to Mr. Cleesby to inform him that his conversations could be considered slander and that he needed to stop. We've watched our pristine farm pond become a weedy, silt-filled pond. We've watched our driveway erode as water pours across the driveway from the Class 6 section of Old Pittsfield Road every time it rains. We've watched water build up over the section of our land at the beginning of that same section of road due to improperly constructed and maintained ditches. We love our home and the land around it, and we maintain our home and take care of our land. But we see no point in trying to fix these areas by the road when the issues that cause the problems have had no solutions forthcoming from anyone in Town Hall, despite repeated calls and meetings throughout the past 20 years. From the first winter when our logging road was made inaccessible by the Cleesby construction on the road and not fixed until we reported it, through the years of calls to Town Hall and the road agent, to paying attorneys to help us get the town to listen to our concerns, to attending ZBA meetings and presenting the impact this illegal development has had on our land, to attending board meetings here with the selectmen to present our case only to be ignored or stonewalled over and over and over again. The last 20 years in our home have been filled with frustration, aggravation, paranoia, huge expenses, and most recently, fear. Over the years, Bob has had rude gestures made at him as he drove up the road to our home. And a few years back, he had a gun flashed at him, all from cars coming down from the Class 6 section of the road. He wasn't afraid, but I certainly was, and I feared for him. And finally, last year, or 2 years ago in 2015, Bob's life was threatened in our own dooryard because of the road issues. I now fear what other ways we may be threatened or even harmed, and both of us have now obtained pistol permits to protect ourselves and our family. Never in our wildest dreams could we have imagined that things would escalate to threats on our lives. When I walk the roadside in the spring to pick up litter, I listen and watch for cars in case one should swerve at me or my grandchildren. This is no way to live, not for us, not for anyone here, and we never imagined that all of this would continue for 20 years. Thank you.
So as I said before, we're simply here to ask the board to do its job. Thank you for your time. Happy to answer questions, and we would appreciate a response.
Any questions from the board? No. Okay.
Can we ask when we might expect a response from the town?
Well, we're gonna consult with council and see what the options are.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Yep. I'd like to go into a recess to talk with council,
Non-meeting?
non-meeting. Is the board okay with that? So I'll make a motion that we go into a non-meeting to discuss legal issues with our town council.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor of going into a non-meeting to meet with, our council, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So we're now we're in a meeting with our council. All right, we went into a non-meeting to, meet with town council. We're consulting with our council. No decision has been made yet regarding the matter we went into council with, and we're back to our regular agenda. So, does somebody want to make a motion to accept the December 13th meeting minutes?
Motion to accept December 13th, 2016 minutes as read.
Second.
Okay, did anybody have any comments or amendments to those minutes?
Nope.
Okay. All in favor of approving the December 13th meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, has everybody had an opportunity to look at the December 20th meeting?
Yes.
Somebody want to make a motion on that?
Motion to accept December 20th, 2016 Board of Selectmen meeting minutes as read.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Nope.
Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And then we got January 3rd of 17. Has everybody had an opportunity to look at them yet?
Yeah, I read them.
Okay, do you want to make a motion?
Yeah, motion to accept January 3rd, 2017 Board of Selectmen meeting minutes as read.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those minutes are approved. Do we have any assessing forms?
There is no assessing.
Nice.
We have two manifests tonight, though.
Okay,
This is the end of 2016, and 2017 is the beginning of 2017.
2016 on the first. Okay, this will be the final, is this vendor or payroll?
It's vendor.
Final vendor manifest in the amount of $15,538.47.
well, that's for last year?
2016
It's the
invoices.
final it's everything that was encumbered,
Oh, so okay,
it's the final encumbrances.
okay.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, do me a favor, guys, keep the rubber band on those, because each invoice goes with the cover sheet. And that one,
Just left it on, I'm good now.
this one is,
Tonight, all the
That's
folders down there.
it is, but there's a $2 million for the school. That's why it's
Joe's
so
got
high.
the blue folder, one of them goes
Yeah,
in.
pass the folder.
Oh, yeah.
Usually we put it back in when we're done.
Just keep that elastic on
Yep.
it, buddy. Here you go.
Okay, this would be 2017 vendor manifest in the amount of $2,035,962.83, sorry. And, note that $2 million would be the 2017 purchase orders for the school.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
There was discussion, but when he said 2 million for the school, he answered my question.
That's why I said it.
I know that, I was gonna ask
You were
that
gonna ask,
question.
that's why I said it. You were gonna ask why it was so big, that's why I said it.
It was right on the tip of my tongue.
We also have a stack of blanket POs that are going forward for 2017. The first one is for Mainstay Technologies. This is for our IT service and the web service that they provide.
Okay.
hey, what is this, was this something
That got separated from a packet.
yeah.
He says, yeah.
I don't know which packet went in, so.
Just set it up in there, we'll figure it out.
All right, ready?
Yeah,
Motion to accept the purchase order for Mainstay Technologies for the amount of 28,000, no, is that 28,400, what is that? $438.00, it's kind of like, just running it.
28,043.80.
All right, $28,043.80. Sorry, I couldn't read that handwriting, it was all kind of jumbled up.
I actually have a question.
What is it for?
No, I know what it's for. It's for,
Service agreement, data
well,
backup.
what is the budget for that?
Oh, now I see the period, it's just kind of, Sandy's handwriting's too neat for me.
I mean, are you putting in for the whole year for that, or are you gonna put in for the
No,
first
that's
quarter?
not, no, that's not the whole line.
So,
You'll see something else come through next.
well, is that for the whole year for mainstay? Is that
No,
the-
you'll see other mainstay bills come through.
Okay, so what is that for, service?
That's for the first portion of service. It's for the website, IT service, the data backup, it's all going onto this one PO, because it's one vendor. In the contract, how much is that for?
28,000
In the contracted services, we have 57,000 in that line.
for mainstay?
Well, for the contracted services.
Yeah, that was my
Mainstay is-
question.
IT support is 25,000.
I just want to ask the board, do you want them to break this out into two POs? Like we'll do one for the first 6 months and then one for the second 6 months, or?
Yeah, if that's possible, but, you know, is that all for one? We don't know that.
That's all for that's it. That's all the money we're spending with them for the upcoming year.
Why would we pay them up front, all of it?
We're not gonna pay them up front. It's an open purchase order. They're gonna pay as we go along.
We would do it like this, so that way Sandy can just pay as the bills come. If not, we'll have to come back to the board and say, can you
Every
pay this
time.
bill?
Right, so
Can
in
you
other
pay
words,
this
this is
bill?
almost like putting money into a bank account and paying the bills as we pay them almost, kind of.
And it's a contract, these numbers won't change as the months go by.
All right.
If not, we have to come and ask every time
Is
a
there any-
bill comes in.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
We have two for Primex, one is unemployment insurance and the other one is workman's comp.
Is the increase on the workman's comp insurance on that one that we talked about in the past, or?
This is gonna reflect the increase that we budgeted for, yes.
Okay, this is motion to vendor Primex. This would be for New Hampshire unemployment insurance for $3,778.00.
Second. How much was it for?
$3,778.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
This one would be, this is motion to vendor Primex again, and this one would be for workers' comp insurance in the amount of $39,056.00.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
Yeah. Is that increase in that too for workman's comp for our past claim?
Yeah, we saw an increase in all of our insurance this year.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Next one is the contract for Brett Purvis. This is the last year that we have that this contract is good for. If the board wants, we
Do
can
we
go back
need to
up
go out to bid then?
if we
We
wish.
probably should.
This is
What are you guys
motion
doing?
to
Sign
the
on-
vendor Brett
not
Purvis,
signing on
and this
the
would be
top
for,
line,
Actually,
That's where I've been signing, because you moved down, so. I don't know
no,
what we're
actually,
doing.
I should be signing at the bottom because I'm in the last year,
well,
but it
Whatever.
doesn't
You've always
matter.
done it the
I
other
know,
way,
Well, that's because,
Well, I sign
that's
at the
because he
bottom.
signs at the
I
bottom.
thought I was supposed to sign at the bottom, because I was
It
low
doesn't
man on
I
totem
thought you were at the
pole.
top, I was in the middle, and he was at the bottom.
I figured I was low man on totem pole, so I was supposed to be on the bottom.
I just noticed a different pattern tonight, that's all. You
All
threw
right.
me out of my game, it doesn't take much.
Sorry, guys. I was signing at the top this time. All right, so this would be for vendor Brett Purvis, and this would be for the 2017 assessing contract for the amount of $45,000, and that would be made in payments as $3,750 by 12 months.
Second.
Okay, is there any questions, discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Seeing none, the motion carries 3-0.
There you go, I signed on the top that time.
I'm gonna sign at the bottom.
I get you all confused now.
Yeah, you can sign in the middle there, right there.
Okay, we have two
I
for,
signed first next time if I got it first.
we have two for Avatar. One is support for the town clerk tax collector and one is support for assessing.
Okay,
Avatar is our software package.
Okay, so this one would be motion for vendor and Avatar Associations of New England, Inc., and this would be for Software support, this would be for the tax collector's purposes, would be for the amount of $3,237.00.
Second.
Okay, any questions, discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 2-0.
Okay, and then this is a motion to pay purchase order for the vendor Avatar Associates of New England, Inc. again. And this would be for the assessing part of the software for the amount of $3,570.75.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Okay, this is for fuel for the highway department. This is for the Irving card, when they fill up at the gas station.
Okay, motion for Irving Marketing Inc., or Irving Oil Marketing Inc., and this is for fuel for the sanding trucks for the highway department, and this is for $10,000. This would be a blanket purchase order.
Okay.
I'll second it. So in other words, that's for previous. It isn't the bill we're paying. It's that.
No, it's like a card for the year.
Yeah,
Basically.
they'll use the card and then they'll pull a little bit out of this every time.
The only trucks that can fill up there are town-owned trucks, not the
Yeah.
contract. I mean,
Oh, I realize that.
yeah.
Yeah, this is not previous, this is future.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Sticking with the highway, this PO is for Morton Salt. That's for the road salt.
Okay, this is a motion, is this another blanket one? Yeah, this is a motion for a blanket PO for Morton Salt for snow, ice, salt mixture, for $22,000.
Second. Any discussion?
Yes.
Okay.
Seems like we're spending a lot on sand and salt this year. What's going on?
We've had a lot more storms this
Had a
year than
little
we
of
did
these-
last year.
3 storms.
This is for the rest of the year,
That's for the
though.
rest of the year, though, that's not for what's passed. So next fall, if we have more storms,
Is that what's remaining in the budget?
No.
This is the new budget.
no, this is the new budget.
This is a new budget. What we're doing is,
Fiscal year.
we're voting on it, so like, we've already paid for this year, so, and
Paid.
we don't-
If you looked in the last week, there's not much sand or salt left at the town shed.
Yeah, that's so they can go out and buy more.
I know, I realize that. I'm
had a
just
lot of these
saying,
little nuisance storms that,
we've gone through a lot.
And, Charlie will tell you, he says, even if you get this much, or you get a bunch of snow, you still had to put product on the road to
yeah,
stop
we've
people
had a
from
lot of these
sliding.
little
that.
nuisance storms that just don't add up to much. Anyways,
All right, so any further discussion? Did we?
Not about that.
You motion, you seconded?
Yep.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
This just means they don't have to come the next time they need salt. That's all that means. They got money in it. It's like a bank account, basically.
That's all it is, and we just don't have to bother you guys for $1,000 or $5,000.
I understand, I get it.
These three are for our contract plow drivers, Mr. Damaris, Eric Reeves, and then Mr. Daco.
These are also
You know,
blankets.
if those are under the threshold, you can sign those, Joe.
These are a little bit over, I think.
So,
No,
this is,
there's a
yeah,
bunch, there's some we signed that were like, can't you sign up to what?
$2,500.
Oh, okay, I
Yeah,
take
no,
that
it's-
back.
Yeah, these are all up and over.
All right, so this would be motion for a blanket PO for Damaris. Is that just the name Damaris? Is that their name of their company?
Damaris Trucking.
Damaris Trucking for snow plowing, for sanding, plowing and sanding for 2017 season in the amount of $5,000.
That's for the season?
That means from January 1st, 2017 till the end of the year.
Second.
Well, If we have more, I'm sorry.
If you spend that 5,000, they're gonna have to give you another purchase
Ask for
order.
more.
if they
Yeah,
have
they're gonna have to have another purchase order.
I understand.
So, any more questions, discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and any opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
I'm gonna keep all three and send them to you at once.
There you
This-
go.
This would be for Eric Reeves, Reeves Trucking. This is, once again, snow, ice, contracted service. This is again a blanket contract, and this would be for the amount of $15,000.
Okay.
Why is that so much?
Yeah,
I
that was
didn't
my
second
question.
it.
They
Why
have
is
more
it so-
trucks.
They
You
have
gotta
more-
second it
this is
to
two.
I'll
discuss.
second it, yeah. That's what I said, I
Is it
didn't
because
second.
this is more trucks?
I don't
I think this guy charges more per hour too.
He's a little bit more per hour. Honestly, I don't know why they would do it like that.
That seems like a lot of money.
A jump from the 5 to the 15,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree.
Why don't we approve it till 5, and then if we need to
Yeah.
increase it, because I'd like to know why that's so much
Would you like
higher.
to rewrite it? Approve to 5?
I don't think he has multiple trucks either.
Got the one. He's got the one
So
ton.
why,
Different ones, but he just brings one at a time.
Yeah.
He gets through the truck.
but why would we approve his for 15 and the other one for 5?
I don't know
That's
why he
my
wrote it like
So it looks
that.
like this one's more. This one for Daco is 21,000.
Daco's got 3 trucks though, and he's got
Alright.
he's got the big truck. You-
I don't want to table it, because we got a storm. If we have a storm, we're supposed to, so.
You want to limit it to 5 and then come back with a...
Yeah, I'd like to limit it. I'd like to understand a little bit more. I can't get that answer, so just cross it out and make it 5. Well, I'll make a motion to amend that for $5,000 until we get further explanation.
I'll second the motion to amend it to
So we're gonna
5,000.
vote on the motion now. All in favor of changing the PO to $5,000? Say aye.
Aye.
So just
Cross that right out.
cross it out, $5,000. We'll all put our initials next to it.
How are
Okay,
we doing
now-
the next one for 21 then?
Well,
Even
that's
for-
actually got 3, he's
I
actually
know, but
putting
it's still
3
a lot of
trucks.
money, 21,000. I
You
mean,
got
how
3
many
trucks,
storms
so
is
that'd
that
be
good
actually like
for?
15,000 for if you added up for 3 individual purchase orders.
Oh, it's not $5,000 per storm per truck.
No, I
That's
mean, but that
ridiculous.
would be what it would be if it was, we were, yeah, if it was 3
On each
trucks, we
truck.
would be pulling out 1,500 or 15 grand. So it'd be almost like pulling out 3 trucks worth of money.
Yeah, it'd be less than 5 grand.
So, I think he's saying like Eric has 1 truck, so it's 5,000 in the PO. So now DJ's saying, well, Daco has 3
Three,
trucks.
so it's
so
5,
5,000,
it's almost
5,000.
5 grand for each truck. All right, so anyway, so this is the deal, this is for vendor for DL Daco, and this is for the amount of $21,000. This is, again, a 2,000 blanket purchase order. Second it for discussion.
Second for discussion.
All right, Rick, what? I understand the 21,000. Are you worried about this amount too, Scott? This is for 3
No,
trucks.
because with this prior one, it was only for 1 truck, like the other guy's 1 truck. My understanding is that's 3 trucks whenever we have a storm or some kind of weather condition.
So, yeah, that amount of money would make sense for 3 vehicles.
The problem is, we lose track of what it's costing us because we don't know what every storm costs us. If we see 1 per storm, or we got an idea where we can get a feel what it's costing us per foot of snow, or
Could
6
we-
inches, or
could we-
whatever. You
so-
just give an open blanket and, I just think it's,
Can accounting or finance start giving us a breakdown by storm?
Yeah, the invoices are always broke down by storm and time.
yeah, but if it's like this,
No, you'll see, the invoices always come to the Board of
These are
Selectmen.
POs.
Yeah, it
These
would
are-
be in the
these-
I know,
packet.
but if you
Yeah,
don't go
we'll-
through the packet, then you don't know.
We'll make sure we'll make sure it's
We
broken
could
down.
have them do a report for us.
Sheet, yeah.
Yeah.
A sheet, and say,
I
this
agree.
is how much this storm
I
cost.
agree.
Instead of burying it in the packet, we can ask for a special report.
I agree.
We can do that. That's
So,
easy.
if you could start including our selectmen's packet, an analysis of how much we spent. Actually, if we did it, would once a month be okay, or you want?
Once a month is reasonable, because we don't, it depend, I mean, we don't get.
Once a
too many
month, we'd
storms.
have to report how much was spent on snow removal, sanding, once a month broken out by event.
Is it
Per
to my-
event, I'll put breakdown contractor and event.
Yeah.
So that way you see where the money goes.
We don't
per-
always call out every contractor on every snow event, correct?
Yeah. We may not have any contractors out, Charlie.
Sometimes we do the sanding ourselves and don't call.
It's been like
it.
the other day when it snowed all night and we only got an inch of snow.
So, did you make a motion?
I made a motion to accept this
You
one.
second it? Okay,
we had
no
conversation.
further discussion, seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, motion passes 3-0.
The next one is for Lamprey Regional. This is for our demo tipping, the
initial.
demo, the tipping, and the transportation. Trucking.
Okay, this would be Motion to accept the purchase order for Lamprey Regional. Once again, this is a blanket purchase order in the amount of $90,000 as per 2017 budget.
Second.
Okay, discussion, questions about the motion?
Is that including you said you...
Is that all our tipping fees and?
For the year.
For the year.
Yeah, what's their total on that?
90,000? Is that after what you decreased it?
Yeah, there's 91,1 budgeted. The 1,100 is for the,
1,100 we have to pay every year?
yeah, for the
regardless?
closing of that dump. So, yeah, that's the whole deal.
All right, so the tipping, that's everything, right? That's demo, furniture, trash, and all that?
And then tipping only does the garbage. Demo is its own tipping.
Okay, okay,
Although we're paying the same rate now.
okay.
Just,
So my question is why, all right, because we're emptying the trash more than the demo, that's why it's so much more. Because it's 50,000 for that and 15 for the demo furniture
Yeah,
tipping.
yeah,
Is it
the
because
de-
we're emptying the trash more? Okay. Oh, that's fine, I just saw the big number.
Okay.
Can I ask a quick question when we're talking about
Absolutely.
trash? How is our trucking working out better, or is it still rocky as a boat, or?
we had 2 bumps in the road, but he is who he is, and we're working through it.
It's doing better than the head.
It's just a fighting match between them, it's a thing back and forth. I think it's just gonna be one of those things.
Yeah, he's doing a lot better, though. He's willing to work with us now.
Just
He
thought
wasn't-
I'd ask quick.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
happy
are
with
you ready to vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
Next one's for Dave's Painting and Cleaning. These are the folks that clean the town hall.
Okay, this is motion for vendor purchase order. Once again, this is 2017 blanket purchase order for Dave's Painting and Cleaning in the amount of $10,920, and this would be for cleaning the contracted services of the parade buildings.
Second.
Okay, any questions? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
NHMA membership. These are annual dues.
Okay, this would be vendor new NHMA 2017 membership dues in the amount of $3,772.00.
Second.
Okay, is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Motion carries 3-0.
We have 2. These are both for our copiers. The first one is for Leaf. This is the leasing of our copy machines.
Okay. This is once again, 2017 blanket purchase order for vendor Leaf, and this would be for contracted services executive office in the amount of $3,340.20. This would be for the lease of the copier machines.
Second.
Any questions, discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, any opposed? Motion passes.
This is for the maintenance of those machines.
This motion for a 2017 blanket purchase order for Seacoast Business Machines, and this would be for the maintenance of our contracted executive office on the copier machines in the amount of $3,000.
Can I,
Second.
question I have is, one's to lease and one's for the maintenance. Isn't it the same company?
No, they went with, this was started before I was here, but what I understood was this gentleman for maintenance lives in Northwood, and he gave us a better deal on our maintenance. So he was just, in fact, I just met him for the first time last week. He was in town hall.
Okay.
We lease the machine and we have to pay for the maintenance on it? That doesn't make sense to me.
It's like a lease purchase kind of thing, right? Like a backhoe, if we lease purchase it, we still have to maintain it.
So what happens with the old copy?
It's like buying a car, you lease it, you still gotta pay for the brakes and the oil change.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but like, so what happens with these copies that we're getting a new copy, what happens with the old copy?
It's our copier.
We can
We
sell it,
we
we
could
can do
probably
whatever we
trade
want
it
with
in. I've never had to get rid of one.
Have we ever, so we're buying a new one?
No, we're not
No,
buying a new
we're
one, we're
leasing
leasing
it.
the old ones.
Why don't we look into buying one? The police department bought theirs when I was on the police commission. They don't have a lease, they own their copier.
Yeah, we can look into,
Well, I was just asking, well, sometimes it's cheaper to do the lease over the long haul.
That's what I'm asking.
yeah.
Because
we
if
can-
you
we can look
buy
into
it, we can take a look at it.
Yeah, it's free to look into it.
All right, any further questions? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, any
Aye.
opposed? Motion's approved.
And finally, our last one, this is going to Dave Elaine, the guy that manages the lagoon for us and monitors with DES.
All right, this is 2017 blanket purchase order for vendor Dave Elaine for monitoring and reporting on the lagoon for the 2017 season for $7,600.
Second.
Any discussion?
That's for the whole year. Are we all set now? We're in the new year for the lagoon use? Because I know we were full, was it?
Yeah,
Or close to it.
we ended the season with about 9,800 gallons of that we could still dump there. So it's, yeah, we're back to 2017, we're back up to however much.
Because I didn't see any tire
250,000
tracks
gallons.
in there in the last few weeks.
Yeah, we're up to 250,000 gallon capacity now.
Thank you.
Yeah, because we're only allowed up to that amount per year, right?
Right, and we were getting close.
It's like that close.
Because he gave us a heads up a few weeks
So
ago.
what happens, so basically, if we hit that maximum, we'd have to shut it off.
Send them somewhere else.
But then we'd have to we could reopen it in the new fiscal year.
Right.
Yeah, it's so many gallons per year.
But other than that, we'd
All
have
right,
to
all
haul
in
till
favor,
city.
say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion passes. Okay. So, is there any, okay, is there any additional signatures required tonight?
I have a miscellaneous approval. Charlie added a little bit extra money to his budget to buy boots for the staff down there because the price of boots is going up. He's asking that the select board increase the boot allotment from $120 per person per year to $150 per person per year for work boots.
That would be just for the highway department?
It's for everybody.
Isn't that two separate budgets, though? One would be the highway department, one would be the transfer station? Or is it under one?
I think it's just under the one. I don't, oh, you know what?
Just asking.
What do we buy, the one pair of boots a year?
One pair of boots a year. They are about $150 roughly. The boots are expensive. For a decent pair for working in there, they get up there. I'm just wondering if it's two separate budgets.
I would think it would be.
It's, one's under,
That's just my question, because I would think he'd have to do it, and then Joe, the supervisor, for the transfer station, would have to put in for more money too, correct? I don't know.
I believe they're accounted for by the work area.
Yes, I'm sorry. They have, yeah, sanitation has their own safety equipment, and there's $450 sitting there.
So
That would be divided by 3 people, it'd be about a little less than 120, almost.
So what you're saying is, he's not asking for more in his budget, he's asking if he can overexpend his budget for the boots.
No, he put more money in the budget.
He's asking for us to approve it.
Yeah, he thought he could just spend up to 150 because he had it there already. But he can't. He has to ask you guys first.
But
I know, maybe I'm semantics here. The budget's done,
Yep.
so the way you said it, you presented, he wants to increase his budget.
we can't do that because we've already made
No.
the budget.
So
But you did say he wants to increase his
he
budget
wants to increase the amount he can spend
on shoes.
on
Boots.
shoes, yes.
You're saying he's already got.
But he has the
allowance
money
in the
there,
budget.
yes.
All right.
So, are we gonna do this for all of it, or we need 2 separate ones for the transfer station?
Well, yeah, because if you look at the purchase order, it looks like it's probably all coming out of highway.
And that's not the way it happens.
Oh, yeah, this is just for highway. But he wanted to ask
Well, doesn't the
to increase it for everybody.
So you gotta get
transfer station
Joe
would
to
have to
do
come in
one
front of
then
us and
later.
ask us that, right?
No, you guys can do it right now for Joe and for the highway.
Let me see the. Okay, so right now,
It would be 240 coming out of
He
the
did
highway
it for just
department.
himself.
yeah, you just did it, well, which,
360
two
out
pair.
of the transfer station.
yeah, but see, you got the account number here, so we can't, we have to have another purchase order.
I'm not asking to sign a purchase order. I'm asking you to approve up to $150 per pair of boots.
So in other words, right now they're approved for 120. He's asking us to jump it and let him spend 150. He's
Okay.
got the money in the budget. It's just
So,
asking. to do it.
here's my,
What we.
oh, we
we're gonna
haven't, they
reimburse.
haven't, they haven't bought the boots yet.
No, it's what we're gonna cover.
Yeah.
All right, okay, thank you, I'm clear now.
I think. Anyways,
Can I throw stuff in the audience?
You know, we all get a little off the beat sometimes. We lose our train
No,
of
I
thought.
saw that thing and I go, damn it, he already bought the boots.
No, I knew it didn't mean that. I understood.
I
what
looked
he-
at it, I go, looks like this is an invoice.
You
All
think,
right, no,
you're thinking like me now.
so
I mean, Charlie can approve up to what, $500 anyway, so. So you just need to say okay, and then we'll,
It's rubber stamped.
yeah, it's, yeah.
I mean, you probably,
not.
well, I don't wanna get into that, you probably could have approved that, but I didn't think you'd have to bring this to us, but.
I think it's okay.
Did we
I
set
think
a
the price of
threshold
boots
for the
are
boots?
at that price.
120.
Alright.
So
Yeah, it's okay, so, okay,
I think for all of them.
you need a motion?
Yeah, do me a favor, vote on it, so that way I can put it in the thing.
I'll make a motion that we approve, allow the employees to spend, in the highway and
Sanitation.
sanitation to spend up to $150 per well, it's actually, they just buy the boots, right?
Yeah.
Yes, they have to go to that place.
So, they allow them to, $150 per employee for boots,
Once a year.
Second
once a
that.
year.
I'll second that for discussion.
Okay,
You might
discussion.
want to amend that to safety boots, so they have to buy the right type of boots.
Yeah.
Well, it says right here, blanket for safety
I'm just
shoes.
saying, when you're saying the motion, you might want to mention it, so. it's
Okay,
in the record.
this is for $150 for safety boots for sanitation and highway department.
I agree with that because a while back,
I'll
we had a
second
guy try to pair a pair of sneakers.
Yeah, like 200, yeah, I'm just, I just saying, if you don't put that in there,
All right, thank you.
the Red Shoe Barn only goes by what we give them
So
by
all in
parameters.
favor, say aye.
Who got the second on that one?
I believe I seconded it, and then we
Yeah.
discussed it.
We don't need to sign this, because it's.
No, you don't, that was just my notes.
All
The
right,
price of boots are
so
ridiculous.
next thing on the
Over there, it's
agenda
ridiculous. Yeah.
is, local control of municipal roads discussion.
Yeah, so, last meeting, gentlemen got
Yeah,
that in front of you. Before the meeting, we put a petition, I wrote a petition using their language for the board to sign if they so wish. I know you guys wanted to talk about it, so.
Okay,
if
now
you wanna sign the
my thing
petition.
is, I noticed I read a lot of theirs, a lot of other towns had theirs signed on behalf of the board by their town council. I'm just wondering if that's something that anybody else was considering.
This is to do with that thing that came from up north.
when you say that,
When I read
oh, the one
through,
from Pittsburgh?
I read through it and it breaks down town by town what they wanted to do. And a lot of them decided to have them vote, instead of have the selectmen voting on it, they did it by its attorneys. A lot of them
They
did it.
did both, they,
Some did both, but this is different. Each one of these is a different town. Town of Pittsburgh, town of Stewartstown, and then like all these three towns did it by their attorneys. By City of Concord did it by its attorneys. Bridgewater, New Hampton, Woodstock, Littleton, Pembroke, Deerfield, Ashland did it all by their attorneys. I've just noticed it, and then all these towns did it by their attorneys. I'm just noticed that.
so
some
you
did
got
it-
this petition here, where theirs is, how'd you come up with the format for this?
I took the petition right off the front of the thing they sent.
Okay.
And in the letter.
Well, actually, what I wanted to do is discuss it because, this is to, if I recall, this is for us to keep local control over our roads. Not local, but
Yeah, what, they're,
I think the, utility company wants to be able to just say on the class 6 roads, we just want to lay out these without going through the town. Is that the correct understanding?
yeah, after reading it, my understanding was that the Northern Pass project was just either digging under the roads or putting up poles along town roads without asking permission. And the selectmen of these towns are saying, no, we're retaining control. They want to retain control of their town roads.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say yes to that.
Rick, so do you guys want to make what's your pleasure of the board?
make a motion to, I'd like to keep control of our town roads. Will you?
I guess my question is this something that the state legislature, because I know that they've been discussion up in Concord, that if we can bring cheap electricity into the state, that would help bring down the rates for the businesses, would probably drive economic development. So do we want to, that's what, I mean, that's really the discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree?
I agree.
So, I think I recall that it wasn't actually, was it going through Northwood?
The Northern Pass? I don't think so.
No, well, I think it comes all the way down to, I thought part of it was gonna go through Deerfield,
I think it does go through
but
Deerfield.
it was kinda gonna bypass us somehow. Why, was it gonna go down to Epsom or east of here, or?
Honestly, I don't know the route. I know it doesn't hit Northwood.
All right, so you'd like to make a motion, you wanna second it?
And a motion, would you like me to make a motion to accept this petition?
I'd like to be able to have some say on what goes on our roads.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the petition for the declaration ruin to allow town of Northwood to still retain some
Say,
judicial ruling on their. on
well, yeah, we're
all roads.
petitioning the court to say we wanna.
Yeah, we want to continue to have overall say on our town roads.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion to sign the petition is,
I don't think that's the one.
No, they're all the same.
Oh, they're all the same? We gotta
I
sign?
had one in my
well, is there
packet.
one did you want to sign?
No, you can sign that
I have the one
one.
out of my packet.
You sign 3 of them?
Here you go. Okay, any other ones?
I like it when you put my name, so then I know where to sign.
So,
There's no guessing.
This is getting confusing past
all
that.
right, the final voter's guide, wouldn't you have to wait for that till after the
Petition warrant articles,
petition warrant articles?
Which is today.
Yes, but,
and a bunch
Yeah,
came in.
it's on pause until after the budget meeting tomorrow.
Yeah.
I have a couple things that I noticed that if you want to.
I do, yeah.
All right. I just noticed that a few of these just says recommended by budget committee with no,
it's because they didn't vote on them yet. You'd have to
Okay.
get, we voted on them last night.
I just noticed that a few didn't have numbers.
I
That's
think
all
what they're
wanted to-
gonna do is, after the public, because theoretically, after public comment tomorrow at the public hearing, I mean, potentially, somebody could reopen up the budget based on.
I just noticed that some of them didn't have like a number on the vote. That's all I wanted to point out.
So, and then you have, the 2017 warrant?
That's actually, we have to wait until the planning board is done with theirs. But for the articles, we did get 3 petition warrant articles in today that I wanted to bring to the board's attention.
Okay.
Article 21 is now the elimination of the police commission, no tax impact. Article 22 is the scenic road designation of range road.
Oh, so you did receive, police commission one?
Yeah, it came in this morning.
Did they have the, appropriate signatures and,
It did, they all did. They were all checked.
okay.
And number 23 is a money article that needs to be voted on by the Board of Selectmen. There's a petition going around to raise $35,000 to buy the conservation easement of Bennett Island. And the board needs to, I think we have a representative here from that.
What was 22 again, please?
22 is scenic road designation.
Or Range
Can,
Road?
so is there somebody here for the petition? Could you come up to the table?
I only got up to 21, but this might have been, this is what I got in my packet. Is there a new one?
I had,
Okay, I didn't know there was a new
I
one.
had a, I had a couple questions about this. Actually, I have
So
one
did we.
question. Why do we need to, well, my first question is, when we do conservation easements, what's the balance in the conservation fund?
It's about $64,000 roughly.
So, if it's $64,000, why would we not take this out of conservation fund?
This is a rather contentious request for the Conservation Commission. I did the petition because it's such a very visible piece of land. There's an eagle's nest on it, and I think it's right across from the Mary Waldron Beach. And I think that if the Conservation Commission were to not support it, or to support it minimally, which is one direction it's going, that the greater public might have some outrage about it, and that they should have the opportunity to weigh in on it.
Because I just get states, okay, do you answer my question?
It's a view. It's something that I think a lot of people have some affection for, and when you start affecting that, it could turn out negatively.
But I guess my question is I'm of the position that I would be supportive of using conservation funds.
Mhm.
I don't know I'd be supportive of taxing people to, you know what I'm saying?
I
There's a
understand
whole-
completely.
The whole purpose of the way we set up, if you take something out of current use, you get 50% of that money, right? That's where that fund comes
Yes,
from.
and I don't think we see a whole lot coming in.
Well,
We have a
but
limited,
back in the day, you used to, and you do see back, I mean, I think if the real estate market starts taking off again and people start subdividing, but if we have funds available for this out of conservation, but
I don't think that it's, at the most, the Conservation Commission voted to go up to 25,000, and there are reasons that that's not even supported by about half of the Conservation Commission. There isn't a guaranteed access if the easement goes through necessarily. There might be a very limited amount of access per year, like maybe 1 day per year. Northwood only has 1 acre on the, approximately 1 acre on the island, and Stratford has the rest. However, that's facing Northwood. The Eagle's Nest is on the Northwood side. It might, the cost per acre is much more than we usually buy, and it's isolated. So there are lots of reasons why.
So explain, so my question would be, why
Might
would
do
the
it.
access be limited if we're buying an easement?
Because the terms of easement are negotiable, and the landowners want to continue to be able to access it for minor camping without any construction, but they don't want to necessarily open it up for public access because of the Eagle's Nest and other things. I don't really know why, but that's, I mean, those are negotiable.
So I've always looked at the fact that if I'm using public monies to, town monies to purchase an easement, then my position is, as a townsperson, I should be able to go, as a resident of the town, I should be able to go on that island whenever I want, because I feel that the town has paid for that right to use that island.
And so you are in agreement with the Conservation Commission, essentially. The only difference is, the only reason I'm presenting this petition is because townspeople might feel differently about the view, and there are a lot of people who see that view.
Okay.
I'm only,
'Cause I'm
the
gonna
only
let-
thing I care about is
I
that they
just
have the
wanna-
opportunity to say no or yes.
I just want to go on the record, because we have to vote on this. I'm going to vote, I support putting the island in an easement so that the townspeople can utilize that island. However, that being said, I do not support the town spending money on that island if it doesn't have access for the townspeople to use that island. You see
Do you
what I'm
want to provide any further definition about how much access you might like to have, the town people to have? Might be useful in negotiations?
I'm thinking that if I kayak out there, or I want to
I just wanna stop and
snowmobile over
have
to the
no worries.
island and walk around on that island, as if the town's paying that much money for an easement, I should be able to do it anytime I want.
No matter
Thank
what.
you.
Any resident of the town.
Thank you.
I think it should be open to the public. So
I don't think that the Conservation Commission disagrees with you. But it's really important to hear that said, so I'm glad that you made the statement about that. Thank you.
because because obviously, I know my dad used to go down there, watch the Eagles all the time.
That's great.
And it's really neat, and I would wholeheartedly support that, but if I'm told, hey, give us 35 grand for an easement,
But
so
you
it
can
won't
only-
get developed, but don't come on it.
But once a year.
Yeah, it's
Well,
kinda-
that really stuck in our craw too. And there is dissension about even how much we want to give of a fund because of that. We always, all easements we've used to give, have given, have access. So that's, to us, that's a bit of a problem. Nonetheless, there are a lot of people that see the island, that care about it being in its natural state, and I still think that it should be something that can be brought up before the voters so they have an understanding. That's why I'm doing it.
Yep, Rick has a couple questions, go
Is
ahead.
Stratford buying into this too, or are we just buying into it?
Stratford's buying into it, too. I don't know how much at this time, he
Well, it's-
mentioned it. They're being requested for 50,000, just as Northwood is.
So
They're actually
that
asked
small amount of money,
50,000.
that guy's gonna preserve this island to no future building?
No, the cost of the island is $200,000. It's about $75,000 more dollars for the survey and everything else that has to happen legally. And then if it goes beyond June, it's another $70,000, which is why I'm doing a petition warrant today, because if they can know what they have or don't have by June, hopefully there would not be an added increment if the town goes for it. And if it doesn't, it doesn't.
This is still on the market, right? Still advertised?
Yeah.
So we're gonna buy into
I
this,
know.
and if that guy wants to sell some lots out there, he can sell them if he...
No, if you put an easement on
You
it,
can't sell them.
if you put an
So this
easement
guy,
on,
this doesn't make sense to me, that this guy's gonna tie his piece of land up for 50,000 from Stratford and 35,000
No, no, no.
for us.
No,
And not
they
have any
would,
developmental
what the-
rights.
no, what the easement means, and you can correct me if I don't get this right, he can sell that island, but the easement goes with the easement stays with it, because it's recorded at the registry of deeds.
the development rights are sold as the easement. There are a lot of different ways that you can work
Might allow
it.
to put like a small, certain size structure on there or something, or...
They might, I don't know if Bear Paw would go for that. They might, they could put up tents. The terms of the easement aren't fully negotiated, as far as I know.
How much money is Bear Paw putting into this? Nothing?
Bear Paw's trying to raise it all by asking the two towns for 100,000 and asking other people for the rest. So
And
they've
who-
had, these
who-
flocks,
who's
these
the-
flamingo flocks.
Who's
and-
saying the town, like, where is the owners are the ones that don't want the town to have access to it? Like,
That's right. They would be negotiating the terms of the easement with Bear Paw. Bear Paw would hold the easement, and Northwood and Stratford would have executive privileges. Another word isn't privileges, it's in the petition. I'm new to easements, but they would have a say in Northwood's interests in the easement language. That's my understanding of it.
but right now, the message that you're kind of getting from them is they want to limit access to the island.
Yes. And so it's a point of negotiation.
Okay, I know how I'm gonna vote. Does somebody wanna make a motion to
I'll make a motion
approve or
to,
deny?
uh,
Not recommend.
why
You're
would be?
for it? Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't wanna recommend taxing people to buy an easement that they don't have access to use.
Well, I
the
don't
pro-
either.
So
I
we
think it's a
want,
bad
so we
idea.
wanna not recommend this, right?
I don't
That's what I
want
thought.
to make
Yeah.
people pay that they can't use it. I'd like to
Yeah.
see them be able to use it whenever they want.
Yeah, so,
I thought what you said earlier is you would recommend under particular conditions, but you can only do recommend or not recommend,
no, I
is that
can either
right?
say, we can either recommend expending the money or not recommend.
Okay, that's
We
what I was
can't do it
asking,
under,
one or the other.
under
Yeah.
permissions,
So-
unfortunately.
I mean, if you were to do the petition article to make it more specific, you could write in here, the town will pay, I'm just giving an example, town will put $35,000 towards this, under the understanding that the town, residents of the town would have access to the
Full
island.
access to the,
I
For-
see, okay.
I'm not,
I
I don't
didn't
know that's
know-
exact legal language, but you would probably want to run that by a lawyer. Right now, you're just asking us, if we vote to raise and appropriate $35,000 for an easement, but
That's
that
right.
easement doesn't tell us what we're getting.
That's right, it doesn't, it's
So-
not a done deal what the easement is, so I can't
And
put
maybe,
it in.
if you put that language, it would send a message to the owners that we're not gonna give you this money unless you allow us access to the island.
Lesson learned. I can't do that now.
Well, but, and I just wanted to go publicly that I support helping out with the easement, but not without access to people from the town.
I
I think that, yeah, that will be the broad
So
sentiment. It's mine.
I'll make a motion.
agree.
I'll make a motion that, we do not recommend this article.
As written.
As written.
I'll second that motion. Sorry.
I have done my job, and that's what I care about. And if that
Alright, so we
petition
gotta-
goes and you don't
We
recommend
gotta
it,
vote, so the motion is to not recommend, the selectmen to not recommend this article.
Second.
That was seconded, so, all in favor of not recommending, that'd be, we're gonna say, the selectmen do not recommend this, so it'd be 0 to 3, right? Recommend, so this word, we're gonna not, so that'd be 0 to 3. So, all in favor of not recommending this to the warrant article to the voters, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, all in favor, any opposed to that? So the motion carries, well, the way it's worded, would we just say, selectmen do not recommend this 3 to 0?
That's what I was gonna put in the warrant, yes, not
Yeah,
recommended
not
by voters,
recommended.
not recommended 3 to 0.
And, I think this board cares about the island.
Oh, I do. I think it's a
Yeah, we
beautiful
care.
spot.
I think it's a
just the way it's
beautiful
written.
spot. I wouldn't want to see it develop, but with that being said, I don't think I'm doing the right thing for the town, asking people for money to something they can't use.
I
Just for a
completely
piece of
understand, I
paper.
appreciate it, and what you're doing is helping, it will help the townspeople understand what they would actually be getting, and if they hear, we didn't buy a conservation easement on Bennett Island when there was an opportunity, it'll be more thoroughly known why.
Yeah, because I think a lot of the easements we do buy, we're allowed to hike on it, walk over it.
Every single one
Yeah.
that we've done so far. So I agree, and thank you, I've accomplished what I hope to accomplish.
Hey,
There's a
thank you.
petition and
Thank
you
you, have a great night.
Thanks for being patient. It was a long night.
Interesting.
Do we have to vote on the scenic design of Range Road?
Because there's no money.
There's no money on it.
I just have one other question on the voter's guide. On the one, the backhoe lease purchase. Now, it says recommended by Board of Selectmen, but we voted 1 to 2 as 2 not to recommend and 1 to recommend. Wouldn't it say not recommended by 1 to 2?
You know, it was,
Because it wasn't recommended by us. It was voted on 1 to recommend, 2 not to recommend. That would mean it's not recommended.
Right. I was questioning that too.
I struggled with that, but the wording that was used was, are we gonna recommend? And one person said yes to recommend. That's why it's worded like that. If you would've said, do we?
This time we motion not to recommend.
Right, I'm
The
I'm
language
only
was-
asking. I'm not saying it's wrong. I was just a
Actually,
question.
they both mean the same thing. If we said recommended by the Board of Selectmen.
0 to 3.
0 to 3.
I just, some people don't understand the 1 to 2 type thing. It was just a question, that's all.
If the
wasn't
board,
saying-
I mean,
I think it's a little misleading because I think it.
if the board wants, I can
All
put
for it.
not recommended.
I mean,
This is up
it's
to
up
you
to
guys.
you.
I'd rather have it that way.
All right, then I'm okay with that too.
I'll make the
You
change.
wanna make that one not recommended, and then you say not recommended 2 to 1.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, 2 to 1, right.
With that.
Yeah,
Just a wording thing. It's not like, it's just a wording thing.
there's no format, and I thought the same thing, because it's not recommended.
Right.
But the language it was used, so.
All right.
Yeah, I'll make the change.
Thank you.
Is, individual selectmen's reports.
Yeah, I have a couple more there.
I just have one quick one. Did we get anything back on the transfer station attendant?
Yep, he brought his paperwork in, I got all his information last week, and all of his stuff is sitting with the state right now.
Okay.
And I have his other, stuff
That was,
here.
that was my last question, because I know we had discussed that last week.
Yeah, no, he's okay.
Okay. Rick had some, you had some?
Yeah. Did we have any other problems with a highway truck being involved in a minor fender bender other than the last one that happened on Route 4?
Not that I heard, no.
All right.
Okay.
Another thing, I noticed some guys are plowing with shoes on their plows. Why is that going on? It keeps the plow up off the ground an inch and a half, and that's why some roads have a lot of snow on them and other roads don't.
Is that done to protect the plow?
I'm not really sure why that's done.
Protect the cutting edge, that's all.
Yeah.
And if we're paying to plow, they should be scraping the roads, not leaving snow on them after they go by, any more
I
than they
agree.
have to.
I agree.
I'll,
Because I noticed some guys are plowing with shoes, and our town trucks don't, and some of the other ones have shoes on them,
I'm
so.
not a truck guy, what's a shoe?
It just
Shoe
keeps it up off the
snow
ground.
up off the ground, so the cutting edge doesn't wear. It wears the shoe instead of the plow blade.
But then it would leave a little layer of snow.
At least whatever the height of your shoe's set at. You can set it an inch, 2 inches, whatever you want to put. They put washers on the shoe to shorten up the distance to whatever you want.
Some people use it in
Maybe
the
it's
winter
because
to
the
keep them
roads
off
are
the
rough,
ground.
I don't know, but I'm just saying, I noticed that there's roads that have a lot of snow left on them.
Okay. Anything else, Rick?
One other thing I brought up before, and I think it's probably up to Steve to look into it, about our baseboard in the hallways and the bathrooms is very, very dirty looking, because the dirt has been sealed on with floor seal. And I know it's not cheap to do, and if you pull it off, it ruins the sheet rock, and I know the only way to fix it is probably to put on some wood or whatever, but I had someone mention it to me. They went in the ladies' room and they looked and they said, wow, the floor's a mess, don't anybody clean it.
Well, I'll get the cleaners to take a look.
And I know Joe and I had talked to it before, and he said it was a facilities thing, but whether we can do anything about it or not, I don't know, but I think it was a good point that was brought out.
That should be cheap money. We should be able to handle that.
It can be a problem when you rip off the baseboard, because it rips the paper off the drywall, and then it turns into
Repaint.
a bigger well, you gotta mud it and sand it, and it turns into more than what it just is a minor job, because that's glued on there, and if you rip it off, it's not an easy job. I'm not saying it is, because I know I've done it.
Pain in the ass.
Did you wanna, okay, anything else?
Nope.
Do you have anything else?
No, I'm good, yeah.
All right, all right. I don't have anything for them. I got this credit card thing in my packet.
Yep, so that's what, in my report, I was gonna tell you guys, you had some paperwork sitting on the desk or on the table when you came in. An update about the budget. The budget was cut by $25,000, just to let
Is
everybody.
that for because of the backhoe?
Because the backhoe, they
That was a
removed
battle.
that. Yeah, so you have an updated budget in your packet. You also have the credit card proposal. We worked through this for the last 8 months. It's been a challenge. You don't have to do anything with this now, but on the 24th, I wanted to have a discussion and see what you guys thought. This is the proposal that myself, the Director of Finance, the Treasurer, and then downstairs Judy, the Town Clerk Tax Collector, came up with.
So your PCI compliance,
Yes.
the annual fee's only 100. What are we gonna do to make sure we're PCI compliant?
I'm reaching out to other vendors
Because I know
that,
at the state, we have to have an annual PCI training for anybody that has access or possibly have access to credit card
Yep.
machines, possibly see just, you're not even taking the credit cards, but you have access to that area.
Yep.
So the fees, there is a cost to that.
there's an annual cost of $125 a year.
Well, I mean, there's a
and-
cost to make sure that there's training provided to the staff. It's more than $125.
No, that number comes from,
No, Joe, you're not listening to me.
I am, they told me it was 120.
What I'm saying is, there's staff time
No.
and That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
So
staff
what
will
is
be-
your training plan for PCI compliance?
So the training plan for PCI compliance is the organization that we're recommending actually has a vendor they like to use. They have a good working relationship. They provide us with all of the training modules online, and they come in and actually help train staff on site. And it's an annual thing,
And it's only $125.
annually.
Per employee or for overall?
That's the whole deal.
I have a question. I see that we're gonna have 3 signature pads. Where are they gonna be located?
One at the transfer station, one at the town clerk, and one at the town hall front desk.
We're going to actually get a cool mobile device over at the transfer station, so that way the guy can carry it with
You
him.
mean like you're on your
Like what we
phone?
have at like.
No,
Oh, they
I was
have
just
them at-
asking where they're gonna be
Is it
located.
gonna be something like they have at like the milk companies? It's like a little friggin' book, and you can swipe a
Some
credit card.
people does it running like a little telephone. like
Do it on
your
a telephone,
iPad.
but we have at Hood, they have like, it's like a notebook and it's actually built right
It's like
into
an
like,
iPad.
it's like an iPad, but it's a phone too. You swipe it, it's an actual machine. You don't
My
use it like a
question was
phone.
just where are 3 gonna be located,
so-
or is there gonna be actually 4 counting one at the?
Yeah, so he'll have the mobile one down here. Judy and Savannah will have, there's 2 downstairs and there's 1 up here at this window.
Why do you,
Why
why
2
do you have to have
downstairs?
2 downstairs?
One for taxes and one for,
No, there's 2 downstairs because there's 2 ladies working that window, and when they start getting backed up, it would.
Now, I'll tell you.
It would be cumbersome.
Can I tell you something?
Yes.
I don't see
I
how we
have
need
one,
2.
I have one at the state for the front window.
Okay.
So
I don't see why we'd
don't know
need
why
2
you
down
need
there.
2.
It's,
Did
again,
is that something they told, I'll find out, I'll ask in the office tomorrow, but.
And then the other thing, my other question is as far as the mobile one at the transfer station, what are we gonna do during hours of closing? Are we gonna have them leave it at the transfer station, bring it back to the town hall? Just where are we gonna have it centrally
It's gotta be
located?
secured somewhere.
yeah, it would have to be secure.
Yeah, where are we gonna have it centrally located when we're not open of operation?
It could be locked up in the office. All of these things
I
still need
wouldn't
to be.
lock it up in the office that the controls are in. It'd probably be better to lock it up in the
Yes,
office.
downstairs.
Downstairs.
And we could even put it in a.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Only because that office is real easy to get
I'm not
into.
saying no to 2 pads for downstairs, but I don't think you need them. And I would like to
don't
know
either.
why you need 2.
So we talked to a couple different towns, and Sandy and I actually went to Portsmouth to see their setup, just to see how other people do it. I mean, it's Portsmouth, yeah, but,
I get 3 times as many people as
yeah,
we do.
but each workstation, so we have 2 workstations. They have like 10, but we have 2 workstations, so each station gets a card reader.
But hardly ever, there's two of them in there at the same time doing car registrations or doing whatever they're doing.
I don't know, 4 days a week.
I'll ask at my office, because I'm pretty sure, like, for example, there's a couple over, I think you're right, like, at our DMV, each station has one, but for example, in my office, the 3 of them, I believe, share one.
And that was the idea up here, because we have 3 ladies working the window. They would share, but there's only 1 window. I guess there's 1 window.
There's only
downstairs.
one down there.
Shut that all down.
That isn't a good selling point.
No,
Hey,
right?
did you install an extra window yesterday?
Yeah, right?
We're gonna have 3 women up here using 1 machine and 2
Yeah, I
women,
mean, that's
2
my
people
point. Why do you-
downstairs using 2 machines.
It is, it's, from a, so we're doing this for customer service standpoint. It's $500. If I go downstairs and somebody's using a credit card, they tell me, you just have to wait over there because the credit card machine is being busy. You can't check out right now.
No,
So
you're
so
gonna
then I
have
had
one
to wait for
upstairs.
the credit card machine.
You're gonna have one upstairs, so you can't use that in this example. You wouldn't have to go downstairs to use one at this window.
Let me.
You're at the end of June.
I
I've
just-
been downstairs, I register in June, so I've been down and I'm one of the ones that procrastinate to the last possible day
Well,
in June.
I did
And
that
then
this
everybody's paying their taxes, and you have, this is what they normally do. Judy has a line at taxes, line for registration. So what he's saying is if you were in the line for taxes and you were paying with a credit card, but you were also, and say I was in the line for registrations and I wanted to use a credit card, I'd have to wait for you. Instead of waiting for you, the other girl could do me while you're doing yours, is what he's kind of getting at.
For a couple $100, personally, it's a couple $100. I think it would improve customer service a great
It's
deal.
$574, not a
But
couple
it's-
hundred.
Well, $574, I mean, that's, the idea is to improve customer service and make sure people can pay as they want. And it's, for the way I see it, it's small money for really the service we provide.
It's a one-time purchase, too.
It is, it's a one-time go.
I gotta bust your chops a little.
That's all right. That's what this is about.
You're getting a lot of it's small here, small there, small there, small there. The smalls start adding up.
Yeah. To 4,760.
No, I'm talking about a lot of, every time you go, oh, this is just a small dollar item. Everything, small dollar item.
Oh.
The small dollar items add up.
Yeah, that's true.
Figures it's an easy sale that way.
This is easy, it's small money, just let's go.
All right, anything,
No, that's all, but on next
I'm good either
meeting,
way.
we were gonna talk about this and finally hash it out. and
I'm
see what
good
we-
either way with whatever you guys decide. If you want to go with the extra one or cut the one.
I'm gonna ask at work.
You want to
'cause
cut the
I think
second
at-
one, I'm okay. If you
I
want to
think
go with the
at-
extra one, I'm
gonna
okay
ask it,
too.
Because I think at the state DMV, they have one, but for each window. For each window.
I will say I'm
We
a
only have
little,
one window.
I would be a
Not for
little,
one for each employee.
I've seen them move
I
the
would be a
window.
little concerned about the
I think-
mobile reader at the transfer
only
station,
have
just
one in
falling
my
into
area.
the containers. That would be
But I
my
like to
only
process
concern with
$200
that.
million to do that.
I mean, if he's
Yeah.
helping some, that'd be my only
When they
concern
do
there.
here,
We don't want to smash it either.
That'd be my only concern with that one. It's just a matter
I
of
think it's a bomb overkill.
taking
Do
care
we
of it.
have any non-public?
2 non-publics tonight, yes, sorry.
All right.
So we're gonna make a motion to go in.
Well, wait, I'm sorry.
Public comment first.
We're gonna open up the public comment before we go into non-public. Does anybody here
She's gonna have to do it.
anybody wanna make public comment?
It can be a little.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Can you, use the microphone, please?
Did you approve or disapprove the idea of? Okay. Did you approve or disapprove as far as the Board of Selectmen for the Police Commission?
We don't
have to approve or
we don't-
disapprove it, 'cause
I
it's
thought
a
that was
Petition,
just
so we have no
petition.
say in it. We
Okay.
can't
It's a
deny it
non-money
or.
article.
I just didn't want you to
No,
forget that.
good point. Thank you.
You'll see that article on the warrant.
Yeah, that's a non-money one, so we don't recommend it, I recommend.
People bring it forward, it has to go on the warrant.
Any other public comment?
Real quick, like, the boot thing you guys are talking about, it should be in a job description. Any job I've ever had should tell me what kind of boots I should have, you know, so imagine the dump people or recycling committee, you know. You said the plowing bids are gonna go till the end of this year or the end of the season? 'Cause don't the plowing bids come out every year, like, you gotta, so like,
Normally they do.
usually when the snow ends in May,
They have
These
an end
per-
date and a start
These
date.
purchase orders are set up by fiscal year.
okay.
So our year runs from January 1st to December 31st. Typically what happens is, if there's still some money left, we would keep till December. Like, for example, say we overspent it, then they'd have to issue another purchase order. Like, once that reaches its cap, we have to issue another purchase order. So if we got like a ton of snow,
Yeah. What is the, different on the road, scenic road and range road and, you know, Sherburne Hill, it's 231.157 for Sherburne Hill, and you had 231-158 for a range road?
I just took the language right out of the warrant, stuck it right back into my warrant. The petition warrant article is identical to what I wrote, so whatever they put in there.
So, I mean, if you, like, we're trying to take the one off Sherburne Hill, and you're trying to put one on, so there must be,
Oh,
one to put one on is like A, one to take one off is B, that's what the 57, 58?
Yep, there's an article that talks about the rules and regulation of a road, and then yours is how to
Okay.
designate or undesignate the road.
Yep.
Yeah.
And, like you said, I appreciate what you said about the island, you know, if that guy wants to keep it in his name and use it for his camping, well, I wanna take my kid out there to go camping too some night, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I appreciate you guys speaking up on it.
Look at the
We're
stars.
gonna put money into it, we all wanna use it. And the credit card machines at the front desk, what would the front desk be paying up here for the girls?
Building permits and stuff like
building
that.
Building
permits.
permits,
Okay.
people come
Planning
in to look
board.
at tax material,
Okay, so
copies.
we pay Diane instead of the building inspector, we don't give the money, the girls take, you know, secretary, sorry.
Yeah, if you wanted to, yeah.
If you wanted to pay by credit card, you would be.
Some people come up here and pay for their transfer station stuff too now, where we don't accept credit cards down there.
So is that, I mean, if that's the case, are you gonna, like, people can pay, like, you throw out a couch here and take the receipt to the dump?
Yeah, that's the way it is
That-
now. That's the way it
Oh,
is right now. Go ahead, Scott.
Go ahead.
That's the way it is right now, because we don't accept cash down there.
Okay.
So they only accept check. So if they can come here and pay cash first and come there with a receipt.
But then they'll be able
Am
to
I
take,
correct with
but
that?
then they'll be able to run the credit card.
And we still have surveillance at the transfer station?
Yes.
So you guys talked about this, I don't know if you ever got it, but that locked up destructible box to keep the file tapes in, the machine, I talked about it a couple months ago, like when you put the security camera in at the dump, some locked up box that nobody can break into to get the tape out to, mess with it. Is that?
Yeah.
I
No,
think
it's,
that's digital, isn't it?
Digital.
It's digital.
So they had discussed maybe something like a locked box, but maybe that credit card machine, you put in that box, but that was an old something like that. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think it's digital, isn't it? It's on the computer.
Okay, so we gotta go at the personnel matters, which
is,
We're
yes,
going into
personnel, and let me see. Number C and number A, letter A and C for non-public.
so can I get a motion to go into non-public under RSA 91, sorry,
A3A.
A3A, paragraphs, C and E, you said?
I'll move,
A and C.
A
I'll
and
move
C.
that motion.
So I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
So,
Yeah, they're not gonna have any service or nothing, That's what he wanted. So I just figured I'd tell you when I saw you.
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, I'll get down and see her.
Send her a card or
Yeah.
give her a call.
yeah.
So I'll make a motion to go into
Yeah, you
non-public
did
under,
in a second,
second
so
it.
I'm gonna take a roll call. Rick Wolf?
Yes. Have a good night.
Yes.
Oh, I also vote yes, good night.
I'm gonna grab a quick drink of water.
We are now in non-public session. Could I get a motion to come out of non-public?
Motion to come out of non-public.
Second.
Okay, I'm gonna take a roll call. Rick Wolf?
Yes.
DJ?
Yes.
I also vote yes, we are now on a non-public. Can I get a motion to seal the minutes?
Motion to seal the minutes?
Second.
All in favor of sealing the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, you guys wanna make a motion about,
Yep.
cameras?
Yep. I'd like to make a motion to, I guess,
Deactivate.
deactivate the one camera that is in the transfer station control room.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
Nope.
Okay, gonna call for a vote. All in favor of disconnecting the camera, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, I'm gonna vote no, just because, I'm going to vote no. So anyways, the camera is 2-1, so we will disconnect the camera. Okay,
Tomorrow
All we
we'll do
need to do is unhook the wires.
do you
Doesn't
wanna
have
make
to
a
come
no,
Just
I
make
meant,
sure it doesn't disable all the other ones.
That would be.
I don't think it will.
and then I'd like to make I'd like to entertain a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
We are now adjourned.
Really?